Hey guys, how you guys doing? Welcome to the second edition of BMX Coach Live here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining tonight if you're in California or if you're in the United States. If you're in Australia, then it is good afternoon, and if you're in England and Europe, then you're probably sleeping, unless you're a night owl and you're up. I'm your host, Greg Romero, and I'm here to talk about why your second pedal sucks out of the gate. And before we get to that, just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Last week we had a really good show on our first show here live on YouTube, and got some feedback. Last week's show we spoke about the reasons why you weren't winning, right? And a lot of it was going deep into the psychology portion of what's holding you back, and had a little bit of feedback here. I got a private message from a guy named Anthony Brown, and he says the post we made about losing, he goes, well, I lost, but I learned a few things mechanically and mentally. Most importantly, I'm not defeated even though I did not make the main. And so that's good. I would say at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that we remind ourselves, if we're not winning, then we're learning, right? There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. All right, so that being said, hope you guys are doing well. Got a couple guys that are in the house. I see Devin Kelly, Merino Valley is in the house, Wyatt BMX. I see, let's see, who else is here? I don't see everybody, but I see a few of you guys. So again, thank you guys so much for showing up. Hope you guys are doing well. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And after we're done going through the portion where we're going to talk about why our gates or why our second pedal sucks, then we're going to go ahead and go to the questions, and I'll ask any questions that you guys may ask. And that's where we really delve deep and spontaneously have a little bit of fun. It's my favorite part of the show. Hopefully I don't run out of any water here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take a break. All right. Well, with that being said, why does your second pedal suck? Well, I would say that for the most part, I would say a good high percentage of anywhere from 90 to, 95% of athletes that come to me and ask me about help on their gate and also their acceleration out of the gate, which is, getting into not only getting into the first pedal, but more importantly, that second and third pedal. And usually it comes down to mechanics, right? Most of these guys come to me and they want to think adding a bunch of horsepower is going to solve the problem. And why that might not be a bad idea. Certainly horsepower can fix a lot of things. It's not the only thing. And the thing is that you can add as much horsepower as you want and as you like. And if you're still not effective of being in the right, correct position, then it doesn't really matter how powerful you are. And you're certainly not going to take advantage of any of the power that you develop. So I want to delve deep, go a little bit deep into the mechanical side of why your second pedal sucks. And then hopefully if you guys have any aha moments, if you guys have any questions, ask them. Feel free to comment as much as you like as I'm breaking this down, and we're definitely going to talk about that. All right, so let's see here. Not exactly 100% prepared here, but let's see here. I'm not going to play a video, but we'll go into, we're going to go to two reasons, right? We're going to start with pretty much when it comes to your second pedal, let's go into the two reasons why that even happens in the first place. So here's my first reason. Bad acceleration position, okay? And really I have bad acceleration position number 1 and bad acceleration position number 2. So we're going to go with the first one. And as you can see here, this is a video of me. It's a screenshot of a video, and as you can see here, I don't even know if you can't even see my mouse when I play this, can you? No, you can't. But if you could see where my head is at, Okay, before we get there, I like where the shoulders are, the right over the handlebar grips, and typically that's where I want all of you guys to be, right? Shoulders right over the handlebar grips, and if your shoulders are right over the handlebar grips, then for the most part, you're in a correct forward position. Now, the problem with this is that my head is really, really dropped down low. And the problem with that is that I'm not able to open up on the hip extension. The hip extension is going to involve the glutes, right? The glutes are going to be the most powerful part of the extension as you pedal, believe it or not, especially coming out of the gate. So when you extend through the ankle, knee, and hip joint, okay, I'm using my arm, of course, but obviously, think of this as a leg. So you have the ankle, the knee, and the hip joint. When you extend, we tend to think that it's going to be our quads, right around the knees. And while that's true, but a lot of it's being generated from the hips. So, if the torso is dropped down, then I'm not able to open up and fully extend and get as much power as I can out of that hip extension movement. And that's what we want. And so having my torso, perpendicular to the ground is not going to be advantageous when it comes to developing hip extension. So that is a first example of a bad acceleration position. Let's go to the second one. Voila. Bad acceleration position number 2. Okay, so sure, our head is up and we're fully exaggerated compared to, say, this last picture here, right? So head is up. However, as a result of the head being up, the shoulders are behind the handlebar grips. And you could see where I'm at in terms of getting into the second pedal. And then if you see in the background there, you see Tyler. His shoulders are right over the handlebar grips. And he is in a perfect position to get into the second pedal with the effective power that he has developed. And so you could see the head position, right? Like his head is like perfectly looking about a foot in front of the tire, which is perfect in my opinion. And Tyler Brown is a great study here. And of course, the shoulders are right over the handlebar grips. And if you compare that to me, my shoulders are way behind. And I'm basically, by the time I get into the second pedal, listen, I'm going to have to get into the correct position to even deliver and finish that pedal stroke. Tyler's already in the correct position. I'm not in the correct position. Sure, I'm going to still be able to power into this. However, it's not going to be as effective. And by the time it is effective, it's too late, as I've already ran out of room to extend, right? I'm going to be underpowered, and the third pedal, the third half crank out of the gate is already going to begin, and I'm still out of position. So if we re-engineer this, right? Reverse engineer this, please forgive me. If we reverse engineer these two bad habits, what is causing these techniques to develop, you may ask? And so if we reverse engineer these, it comes back to an effective first movement, right? Getting that first movement down correctly, moving with the head and shoulders, right? Keeping your head down, not up, not too far down, right? Keeping the head down, eyes right in front of the tire, moving the head and shoulders, and making sure our hips come with us. Our hips need to stay right in front of the nose of the seat, basically. And right when you're in that position, then you extend. Let me show you a little picture of Tyler Brown over here. You can see here when Tyler is moving with his head and shoulders first. His shoulders are right over the handlebar grips, and simultaneously he is driving with that front foot. Now the challenge is holding that position as he fully extends all the way through to where the crank is at the 6 and 12 o'clock position. That's going to be the challenge. If you can hold that, then you're going to be in the correct position to get in the second pedal. Let me show you Tyler over here. So Tyler is fully extended. I believe, yeah, his cranks are at 6 and 12, right? And if you look at his shoulders, they're still right over the handlebar grips. And I would say that is going to be the most effective way to get into the second pedal. It's all dependent, right? It's all dependent on what the movement happened prior to that. Call it sequential dependency, right? Think of Newton's third law. For every action, there's an opposite equal reaction. So if you lift the head up, then the shoulders are going to go back. If you drive with the head down, then everything is going to keep forward and staying down, right? Now we don't want down like this, and obviously I over exaggerated this a little bit, but that's pretty rare. In fact, it's rare. Maybe you might find beginners and younger riders doing this, and that's fine. It's just going to take a little bit of coaching to help them develop the right technique. But certainly when it comes to us older riders, this tends to happen more than not. The head tends to lift up. We come out of the gate, lead with the head and shoulders, and then the head lifts up because we want to see where we're going, and that's totally natural. It's totally fine to see where we're going. But I'd say wait till the 30-foot mark. There's no point. You already know where you're going. You're going straight, and that's it. You're going straight. So there's really no point to look at the target of where you're going, because what's going to happen is the head's going to pop up, the eyes are going to pop up, the eyes are going to pop up, chin's going to pop up, shoulders are going to go back. All right, so that's all Newtonian third law, right? All Newtonian third law. And so, as it pertains to sequential dependency, eyes go up, head follows, shoulders go back. If we keep the eyes down, then that solves all problems. So how can we correct this at home? Because doing this on the gate is really hard to do. In fact, I offer I'm redoing my store over at BMX Training. I'm actually in the middle of doing it right now, and I'm actually going to launch a new course. It's going to be a little bit more redefined and updated. It's going to be the Gate Start Secrets course. And here's a little screenshot that I took from it. And the best way to work on your second pedal development is going to be during sprint training, because you're not going to have any distractions of worrying about getting a gate start, racing other people, doing a gate start, and then going around the track, walking back up the starting hill and doing it again. If you could do it during sprint training, you only have to go about 5 full cranks, not even that. You can go 3 full cranks for all I care, and shut it down, turn around. You can get a lot done in 20 minutes, and you could work on reconfiguring, reprogramming, and change the neurology of how you actually perform mechanically your second pedal, right? Your second pedal acceleration position is going to be the most important position when it comes to acceleration down the first straight. All right, so do we have any questions? Let's see, if I hit refresh, well, maybe I don't want to hit refresh on that. Sometimes I get a little bit of delay here, but I hope that makes sense. So you can work on your second pedal position doing sprints. You can come off the box or a sprint stand, or if you don't have that, then you can certainly put your handlebar grip up against a light pole. Like I like doing sprints off a light pole if I don't have a box, right? Let's say I'm at a race and I'm warming up and I don't have a box and I'm out and about somewhere near the track and I'm warming up. I'll just put my handlebar up against a light pole and then just kind of work on my movement from there. But certainly you can deliberately get your shoulders over the handlebar grips, and you don't even have to go all out. You get a lot of repetition doing this at 50 to 75%. You not only can you get a lot of repetition by doing these short exercises because you're not on the track, but it's important for you to do this around 50 to 75% intensity. That way you can reprogram it correctly, because once you start going 100%, then you're going to default back to your old habits. So it's important for you to just continuously, deliberately, consciously work on this and work on it at lower intensities. Get a camera and get someone to videotape you, or set up your iPhone on a tripod or something, and record it and make sure that you're getting into the proper position and you're holding it. Give yourself some feedback. And once you start to get really comfortable with that, maybe 10 to 15 reps, then you can go ahead and start bringing up the intensity and then see if you can hold it from there, because it's going to be different in terms of how you hold your body forward. It's going to require a little bit of access, not only in the lats and the upper back, but you're going to need more core strength. It's going to be a little bit different. So certainly give this a try. Let's see here. All right, so not much in terms of the way of questions as it pertains to what we're talking about, your second pedal sucking. But we have one here. We have one coming in from Ally. He says, my dad keeps saying that I need to change up my gearing. What is the best time track to do this? We'll get to that in the Ask Coach G section. But yeah, I want to make sure that everyone is gaining some clarity and understanding on what we're talking about here. And if you guys have any questions, this is now the time to ask them. I tell you what, you guys go ahead and figure out what questions you're gonna ask, and I will be right back here in a second. I need to get more water. Hey guys, I have a question. What would it do for you if you could enhance your power out of the gate, enhance your sprint speed down the first straight, enhance your skills, enhance your mental performance mind state? What would that do for your racing or your kids' racing? If you're seeing the value of enhancing your BMX performance, consider joining the community of BMX Training Pro and get the same access my Olympic athletes have enjoyed, as well as thousands of BMXers all over the world. Some members use the access to improve their gate start techniques. Some also use the access to keep them motivated to train, and you'll find your reason when you gain access and join BMX Training Pro today.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now.
Nitro with the nice flow.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now. Let's go. Stay focused, here the heat come. Concentrate to the sound of the beat drum. Yeah. Start it up, take it back now. Check it out. This is how it's going down. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. I kind of filled up my bottle of water. I'm actually running low over here, and so I hope you guys are staying hydrated. It's certainly warm over here on the West Coast in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're certainly in the Southern Hemisphere in Australia or New Zealand, I think you guys are going through winter right now. Looks like I have a question coming in from James. This one actually came in from Instagram, and I wanted to save this and answer this here. He says, Coach G, I'm an 11-year-old intermediate BMX rider at the Rapid City BMX track in South Dakota. My gates are good for my age, but my track speed is slow. If you could reply and tell me how to improve my track speed, it would be awesome. James. Hey, James. Thank you for the question. And I would say, when it comes to track speed, there's a couple things that are going on here. You have to think of two components, right? You got to break it down. Think of two components. Number one, your skills. If you can improve your skills, you're going to improve your track speed by default because you're going to be more efficient. If you're more efficient, you're going to have more energy. If you have more energy, you're going to be able to pedal a little bit more powerfully, especially from the second turn all the way to the finish line. So the other way that you can improve your track speed is just simply working on your fitness. I say this time after time. In this channel, actually, there is a quarantine challenge, and it's actually interval training that you guys can do with me. Simply just take your bike, put on a set of rollers or a trainer, or you can even use a stationary bike if you have one of those, and you could perform broken sprints. And basically the broken sprints, it's going to be like this. Basically, you'll do like a 3x5 seconds. What does that mean? You're going to do 3 efforts, 5 seconds each, and rest anywhere from 2 to 3 seconds in between each 5-second effort. And then after you do, so it's roughly about 15 seconds worth of pedaling. And then after that, you just rest anywhere from, 90 seconds all the way to 3 minutes. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And you could do anywhere from 6 to 8 efforts of 3x5 seconds. And certainly it's going to be really hard to do. But what we're doing is we're training your body to have muscular endurance by the way of attacking that specific metabolic pathway, that anaerobic pathway of power endurance, which is going to be lower intensities, and usually that's for 11-year-old kid. It's certainly going to be in your mind you're thinking 100% I'm pushing hard as you can, but it's going to be a lower wattage compared to the acceleration and all-out effort that you have from the gate to the first jump. So when you practice 3x5s and you're practicing that at deliberate intensities and deliberate power that you're going to deliver, say after the first turn or even after the second turn, it's going to mimic that pathway both neurologically and muscularly. So work on that, and you will find that you'll have more gas in the tank from the first turn all the way to finish line. All right, cool. Souza 44, I love BMX Race. Alana Kushinsky has a question coming in. Welcome to the show, Alana. This is completely random, but I recently broke my collarbone racing earlier this month. What could I work on at first to help me get back? I'm a 16-year-old novice, but consistently racing intermediate 17-20 boys. I think you sent me a question on Instagram, didn't you? Or was it Facebook? Please forgive me. Yeah, I wanted to actually answer your question here. However, you showed up and you asked a question. Thank you so much. Let's see here. First off, you being a 16-year-old novice and you're racing intermediate 17 and 20-year-old boys, first off, I wouldn't get distracted, or I'm sorry, I wouldn't get frustrated with that. I would certainly use that as an opportunity to get feedback. And sure, if you're having a hard time beating these guys, or you're not close, whatever the case may be, then focus on trying to be as close as you can to them and use them. Listen, sometimes it's better to have someone to chase rather than to be chased, and that's a really good opportunity for you to improve. So definitely look at the silver lining, look at the opportunity. You got to look at everything as an opportunity. Now, looking at the opportunity, getting over the broken collarbone, perhaps this is a new opportunity for you to work on and redefine your skills, whether that's pumping, manualing, working on your gaits, working on your fitness. Certainly with a collarbone, make sure that you get the proper strengthening around that collarbone area. Okay. And then I would certainly work on manualing, pumping, jumping. Even if you're not jumping at that age, maybe perhaps, I'm presupposing that maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Please forgive me if you are. But you could practice on like micro jumping, right? Like over a roller, just practicing doing like a micro bunny hop. Do anything to get more familiar and one, if you will, right? Get some kind of coherence between you and the bike. All right. So that's key. Just keep working on your skills. And if you have any goals, I would certainly work on some kind of aim, right? Like, okay, so you might be racing boys now, but maybe perhaps at the state level or even a regional level, maybe perhaps your goal would be to be competitive, and you need to define what that is, and then figure out who you need to be as a racer to be competitive at that level against the other girls at the state or the regional level. Focus on becoming that person. Don't worry about racing older, higher proficiency racers, and don't worry about creating a goal in there. Just use that as a place as a sandbox to play in and work on your skills. Okay. Hope that helps. Keep up the good work, and I'm proud of you. And thank you for reminding me. This is a great reason and great reminder on why I actually do this, these live shows. I do this in an effort to help people like yourself, people that are beginners who are new to the sport, because we need you guys. You need us and we need you. And basically that's how it is, right? Like the more people we can help, the better the sport's going to be, because we're going to have more participants in the sport. And the more that we can help each other, especially other guys that are listening that are experts and parents, the more you guys can get educated, the more you can help others. And if the more people that we can help, then the longer that people are going to stay around. And that's what we want. Cool. Thank you. Wyatt BMX. I'm a 13-year-old expert in State 1 and Gold Cup 1, and I want to race at Nationals. The closest National this year is 7 hours away, and my parents don't want to go. How do I convince them to take me? That's a great... Whoops, please forgive me. I'm like messing with my microphone here. How do you convince your parent to take you to a 7-hour away race? Well, I would say this. You got to give me more context. Did you ask? And what answer did you get? Type the comment below and we'll come back to that. I could give you some reasons, some very influential reasons as to why you could influence them to take you. Certainly give me more context. Did you ask and what did they say? We'll come back to that. That one's pretty funny. Magic Maple, welcome back, my man. You showed up last week and you have a question today. What do? I have problems when I bunny hop getting my back tire high. Well, are you getting the front tire high? Okay, because again, Newton's third law plays a huge role when it comes to BMX movements. So if you're trying to get the back tire high, you got to get the front tire high. Get that front tire high. And as you're compressed, right? So to get the front tire high, certainly you need to compress everything. So get the elbows bent, get your torso low to the bars, make sure you squat by bending, by pushing back on the hips, followed by a bend in the knee, and then lift up on the front end. And as the front end comes up, then extend and pop through the feet. When you pop through the feet, that's where you're going to enable the back end to come up. Now, I don't want you to do a clip jump where you just pull up on your clips through your heels. We don't want to do that. But we certainly want to develop some kind of reactive pop, right? Get the front end up high, and then get a nice pop off your feet. Just press off the pedals, and then extend through, and then bring your knees back up. Not so much like a clip jump. Not some, when I say clip jump, I mean pulling up through the pedals. I just mean simply bringing the knees up, and then naturally and effortlessly the pedals will follow, right? The rest of the bike will follow. So get the front end up, and then pop through the feet, bring it up, level it off, and then land back down. Josh Snow, how you doing, man? Hey, coach, just getting back into racing after 20 years. Used to watch you in the Dead Sailor video drinking that NorCal pool with the penguin. Oh, man, I tried my best to say that with a straight face. What a longer tube... I can't even talk, man. Josh, you got me. Thank you. I have the video over here somewhere. I think I got rid of the penguin, though, that's for sure. Josh asked, would a longer top tube help with back pain? A longer top tube. What kind of back pain? Is it lower back pain or upper back pain? Give me more context and we'll come back to that, Josh. All right, guys, we're doing well. I got about 20 minutes left, and I'm having fun with this. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to interact with you guys, and this is a lot of fun. Clay Kids BMX. His name is Greg Clay. What's going on, Greg Clay? How you doing, man? Hi, Coach. How can I help my son? He is a 12-year-old expert and sometimes loses a good deal of forward momentum out of the gate by pulling up. Do you have any tips to help improve this? I would love to see what that looks like first off, Greg. Otherwise, I'm going to have to envision him pulling up and losing momentum. I would say for the most part, what's his first movement looking like? Is he leading with the head and shoulders first? Kind of like this. Let me show you. Is he leading with the head and shoulders first, right? And keeping the shoulders right over the handlebar grip. See that yellow arrow? Is he leading with it? head and shoulders, and then is he keeping the shoulders over the handlebar grips when he gets in the second pedal? We just went over this earlier in the video when I started the live stream. So in other words, if he's not keeping the shoulders over the handlebar grips, then more than likely, perhaps he might look like this. This is a little bit exaggerated right here, but now you could see, now in the foreground in the red and blue, that's me. And basically I am out of the proper second pedal acceleration position. My shoulders are behind the handlebar grips and my hips are actually behind the seat. Whereas you look in the background there's Tyler Brown. His shoulders are still over the handlebar grips and his hips are right in front of the seat. He's keeping the forward momentum going. So I'm really glad that you asked that question, because this pretty much picks up where we left off in the beginning of this video. So yeah, so in an effort to keep forward momentum going, mechanics is certainly more important than power, because without mechanics, you can have all the power in the world. If you're not efficient, then you're not going to be in the correct position at the right time to deliver the power that you have. Hopefully that makes sense. So make sure that you keep the shoulders forward, especially in that first movement. Okay. Is he leading with the head and shoulders first? And then is he holding the shoulders getting into the second pedal? If he's not doing that, then you can work on some sprint training, and you can see right here. I was telling the guys earlier, I'm working on the store, which is going to be store.bmxtraining.com. If you go to bmxtraining.com, you can click on store, and right now it's a mess. There's a bunch of outdated, well, I wouldn't say outdated stuff, but no one's buying t-shirts, no one's buying DVDs. A lot of people are buying digital downloads, but I want to put more courses in there for you guys, custom courses that are not in the membership, that are a little bit more comprehensive. I'm working on a Gate Start Challenge course right now. I'm redefining it and making it more comprehensive than I ever have. And certainly this is going to be one of the key exercises to work on that forward momentum that we're speaking about here, and simply working on keeping your shoulders over the handlebar grips during second pedal acceleration sprint exercises. That's going to be key. All right. Thank you so much for asking that, Greg. And I am grateful for the opportunity for you to be here. All right, let's go to, we got more questions coming in the live chat. This is awesome. What else do we have here? Oh, let's go back to Wyatt. Wyatt is over here. He's 13-year-old expert, and he's trying to get to the Gold Cup. I'm sorry. He's 13-year-old expert, State 1, Gold 1, Gold Cup 1, and the next closest national is 7 years away, and we need to help him. So guys, everyone in the chat, we got to help him. We got to come up with some ideas, and perhaps anyone that comes up with the best idea, I tell you what, I'm going to give you a free download of your choice. It could be either the Faster First Straight, Sprinting Secrets, Race Day, Killer Speed, whatever you guys want, BMX Racing Skills. If we can help Wyatt BMX, give him the best reason to tell his parents to influence him to take him to a national that's going to be 7 hours away, the best answer will get a free digital download from me. I think I'm just going to default with that, man, because I don't know what to say. You have the State 1 and the Gold Cup 1. I don't know why. What are your goals? What are your aims as it pertains to BMX racing down the road, say next year or the following year, right? Can you tie that into, say, your education, right? Can you figure out a way to tie that in to where, hey, this is going to help me with my confidence in school. The more confidence that you have outside of school, the more focus you'll be in school. Something like that, right? You have to work school into it. You have to let them know that if you can get to this race and you can accomplish your goals there, and you can work on your aim of who you're trying to become, both as, well, basically who you're trying to become as a student rider, right? Maybe perhaps you want to go to college for BMX racing, and the college coaches are going to be there, and they want to meet the parents. They want to meet your parents. That would be a great reason. That's probably the best reason right now. Anyways, okay. That's pretty good. Suited Heeds has a question. Hi, Coach G. I'm a rider who started Racing Expert for the first time in 15. It has a $15 sign. I don't know what that means. And because of COVID, I couldn't race 16, so I'm going straight in 1724, which scares me as it is a big jump. Any tips? You know, I was just telling Alana earlier at the end of the day, well, first off, you have to tell me what scares you about that. Alana, I would presuppose, is having a hard time racing a proficiency up because she's a novice and they're putting her in the intermediate. She's 16 and they're having her race 17 to 20. And that's going to be really tough. That's a huge, huge jump. And I would say for you, you know, at the end of the day, the best tip would be try to beat them. I mean, when I first turned pro as a 20-year-old, right? As a 20-year-old, when I turned pro, there was other pros in there. Certainly, they've been professional for 6, 8, 10 years. Guys like Gary Ellis, Christophe Levesque, John Purse, names that you probably don't even know. But if you're an older rider, and you've been in the sport long enough, you probably know who those names are. And, you know, you're coming in as a 16-year-old racing guys that are potentially 8 years older than you. So I know what that's like. And I would just make a goal to try to beat each and every one of them, right? I mean, that was my goal. Hey, my goal when I first turned pro as a rookie, I want to try to beat at least everyone once, whether it was a moto, semi, main, and every time it happened, it increased my confidence. It gave me a rabbit to chase. It gave me reasons to improve. So, and not to toot my own horn, but it was a great reason for me to become a pro because I looked at it as an opportunity. I wasn't like, oh man, you know what, man, these guys are 8 years older than me, and man, this guy is a 3-time pro world champion, and I have no pro accolades. Like, listen, man, I didn't get down on myself. I started focusing on what is it that I can start doing to start beating these guys. And so mentally, I just kind of made the decision. And once I made that decision mentally, everything else just kind of fell in place. You know, the physical, the positive mental forwardness that I had with that goal. My training got better. I was more motivated to go to the track. I was more motivated when I came out of the gate and race. I was always doing my best and always trying my hardest and just trying to get feedback. Even if I didn't win, I was learning, right? And so I think that's key here. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. I would say for a lot of you guys that are in lower proficiencies, that are racing higher proficiencies and older riders, it's all about getting the feedback. If you're not winning, you're learning. So what can you learn? The thing is that you have to learn. If you don't learn, you don't grow. If you race and you get frustrated and you're in a frustrated state, then there's no growth in frustration. It all starts up here, man. Cool. So we have like Josh, guys like Evan, Suited Hades. Everyone's giving Wyatt good reasons as to convince his parents to take him to a national that's 7 hours away. M. Brewer, how can you get over the fear of jumping big? Man, that's a great question. I would say first off, listen, I have a lot of clients right now, and a lot of my clients are enrolled in my Winner Circle mentorship program. If you guys want any information on that, hit me up. Send me a direct message and I'll send some information over to you. M. Brewer, how can you get over the fear of jumping big? I would say my first question is, what placed that fear in the first place? Was it something that happened during jumping? Usually with my clients, I usually try to gather that information first. It's like, listen, I have a lot of female clients. Some of them are overseas, and a lot of them are young, and they've basically been ID'd through the talent of their national governing bodies. So what does that mean? They're basically juniors that are identified to be some of the new talent coming up for World Cup racing. World Cup racing is, the World Supercross Tour, which is Olympic style racing. And a lot of these gals are being thrown right into the mix of jumping pro size, big pro section type jumps. And it's really tough on them. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these guys, they have the skills to do it. One of the reasons that they develop fear is usually through a crash. And so when they crash, they label it like, oh my gosh, that really hurt. I mean, everyone's crashed, and it's like a big wake up call, right? Like, it's just like, whoa, why am I doing this? It's like, I'm doing all this training and riding and racing, and for what, right? Because crashing, man, it is a wake up call, right? And everyone, even you fall on your tailbone, hit your head, and even if you just get a little scrape and you get the wind knocked out of you, it is a wake up call, and there's definitely some fear to be labeled there. But I think I would say at the end of the day, I would say majority of the fear is crashing, right? So the thing is that you have to be able to approach that jump looking for the positive outcome. Okay. You have to have positive motivation, meaning you're looking for a positive outcome. If you're looking to prevent not crashing, listen, the unconscious mind doesn't understand negatives, so it's going to focus on crashing. All right. So the key is to focus on the positive outcome first. And I know that's hard because the unconscious mind is crazy, man. I mean, we're basically walking hard drives, right? It has all the programming. And, you'll come out of the turn, you're heading towards a big jump, and consciously you're like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's hit this jump. Let's feel good about it. But the unconscious mind will be like, hey, man, we're heading towards a big jump. What did we do last time? Oh, man, we got scared and we tensed up. Okay, well, let's do that. Neurologically, it just happens like that. And then the next thing you know, you're backing off. And then if you're backing off and you're fighting with your conscious mind and your unconscious mind they're not in rapport, then that's when accidents happen. So you have to get your conscious mind in rapport with your unconscious mind. But really at the end of the day, it's the other way around, because the unconscious mind has the programming. So if it has fear, then you need to rid the fear in the unconscious mind. You got to get rid of the programming and change it. All right. So if you guys need any help with that, I am a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and also mental and emotional release therapy. And I also do some hypnosis. There are ways that I can easily and effortlessly change the programming for you. It takes about an hour. And you know what? I'll offer you guys an hour session for that. Usually that's reserved for my winner circle training clients. But Brewer, if you're serious and you want help with that, I can definitely help you with that on the mental unconscious programming side. Other than that, I would say the best way to do it would be to regain your conscious competence, right? Just by simply working on jumping, right? Even if it's okay. So if it's not a big jump, then scale the jump down and just work on repeating that and focus on a positive outcome, right? As you're approaching the jump, maybe it's an affirmation, maybe it's just something simple as smooth and fluid, right? Or, confident and smooth, whatever that is. And keep working on that repetitively. And once you get confident with that, see if you can apply that to the bigger jump. That's what I would do. Stephen Digger, he said he just took a digger on Saturday. Yeah, man. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, so what other questions do we have? I have about 5 more minutes. We'll take a few more questions. Alana, let's get back to Alana. She says, can you look above at my last comment? I don't know if she's talking to me or if she's talking to like Wyatt. Looks like we have a nice little bit of a community interacting with each other. So this is pretty cool. Alana, can you look above at my last comment? All right, so let's see what you say here. Okay, so Alana says, I raced a lot in 2014, but took a break and got back in January. I'm doing okay in the rhythm section and gate. It's just the rest of the track. I don't know how to manual, but what would you recommend for momentum? Working on your pumping. Working on your pumping is going to be the foundation for every skill set possible on the track. Okay, it's going to help you with manualing. It's going to help you with jumping. As far as pumping is concerned, and then you can look at it like this. Like I say this all the time. You look at a roller, right? A small roller, nothing crazy. Maybe something that's about a foot or 3 feet. Make sure my other hand's in the frame here. Make sure the roller is somewhat big, and you could come up to the roller and just do a micro bunny hop to where the front end comes up a couple inches, gets back down, the rear end comes up, and then you're just doing these little micro bunny hops over each roller. Real nice, deliberate pumps. That's really, truly deliberate pumping. I always tell my beginning BMXers that are really young that the jumps around the track are there to help you gain speed, not lose speed. So you have to have that mindset, man. You change your thinking, you'll change your results. Evan Brown, look for my first comment at the beginning. I like these. I like these direct commands. Here you go, Evan Brown. Last time you told me about micro bunny hops on my bike in Whoops. Is there a form I should have? I'm a beginner and I am 11. It's just basically a bunny hop, man. It's just a bunny hop. It's just a really quick bunny hop. Basically, okay, if that's too complicated, just focus on regular pumping, right? Which is just pulling up on the front end of the bars as you're going up the roller. And then as soon as the roller comes across the peak, then push down, right? So it's a quick pull push. Or like I said, you could just do a micro bunny hop where you pull up and the rear end comes up and you kind of catch some air and then you land in the backside of the roller, a micro bunny hop. So instead of doing like a bunny hop in the street where you're just trying to do this big yank of like pulling up high on the front end, trying to get the rear end really high, you don't need to do that over a roller. You're just trying to skim the top. Okay, just skim the top. The wheels don't need to come up that high when you're doing a micro bunny hop over a roller. Hopefully that makes sense. I probably need to draw up an illustration of that. Cool. Any other questions coming in? I remember there was a question from Josh Snow. He says mainly Josh talked about if a longer front end would help him with his lower back issues. A longer front end, probably not. Maybe shortening the rear end, that will help because that's going to get the front end up. But let's go ahead and see what you had to say here. Mainly lower back pain that I've had for a few years, but started to get some upper back pain after running gate practice last week. I'm 5'8", riding a 20.5-inch top tube. That's fine, man. 20.5-inch top tube's cool at 5'8". I mean, I don't know if it's so much the top tube or the length that's going to improve or prevent back pain. If you were 5'8" and you had like a 22-inch top tube with a double XL stem, then I would say, okay, man, like if you're trying to manual with that, then yeah, there's probably a reason why you're developing back pain. I don't know if, listen, you're trying to put a Band-Aid on something, like you're trying to stop a paper cut. And at the end of the day, we need to find out the root cause of what's causing the back pain. And usually, typically is, listen, I'm not a physical therapist, but at the end of the day, you need to work on your core strength. Keep working on your core, and that's going to enable you to take a lot of less stress out of the lower back area or your upper back area. If it's the upper back, I don't know what kind of training that you're doing, but perhaps you need to start working on the upper back, right? Work on the muscles between the scapula. You can probably do those with like flies or some kind of rows, or certainly work on that. And then I would say for core, you could do like barbell rollouts, anything to where you're kind of mimicking being in that sprint acceleration position or a manual position, right? Where, your hands are anchored to the bars, and from the bars all the way to the feet, the weakest link is going to be the core. So work on that core area, man. I would say, how much core work are you doing during the week? I know my athletes are doing it at least twice a week. It's very important. Josh Snow, any tips on manuals? I always seem to nose bonk. For sure, you definitely want to focus on where you want the front end to drop. So always look ahead, always look where you want to put the front end down. Now, if you're looking, like if you're bonking, say a double, you're trying to manual through a double, look through the backside, look for the backside and envision the backside and try to place your front end down there. If you're looking at the knuckle, the front part of the second part of the roller, then that's basically you're basically telling your body, hey, this is where the front end needs to drop. It needs to go right there. Wherever the eyes go, that's where the bike is going to flow to. So pay attention to where you guys are looking. Brewer, how can I work on stamina for multi races back to back? We answered this question earlier in the live stream. Check out the quarantine workout. That basically is going to work on your ability to remove anaerobic lactic waste. The quarantine workout is actually on the YouTube channel. Magic Maple asks, how do you know when you're ready for your first race? I feel like I'm ready, but not sure. You haven't raced yet? I think you just need to do it. You just need to take action, man. Just get on the gate, sign up. All you have to do is sign up. I would say that's got to be, you have to, listen, this is funny. When it comes to taking action, right, there's always something that someone has to do. It's the first thing that they have to do in an effort for all the dominoes to fall down, right? So for example, for me to get my day started, I actually have to eat breakfast. But in an effort to eat breakfast, I actually have to start the rice cooker. I actually have a rice cooker and I put oatmeal in there. And it's simple. I just hit quick rice. It cooks. It's done in 20 minutes. So in an effort for me to start my day, that's where I was getting at. In an effort for me to start my morning, I have to hit start on that rice cooker to begin my breakfast cooking. So you need to define what's the first step that you need to do in an effort to get you racing. Maybe perhaps it's just simply signing up, going to the track and signing up. If it's something that needs to happen away from the track at the house, maybe it's just as simple as putting everything in the car, right? If I put everything in the car, put my bike, put my helmet, my gloves, my shoes, my water, my nutrition, my wallet, my identification, right? I know I'm talking very rudimentary here, but at the end of the day, listen, for me to get out of the house and go ride my road bike, the first thing I need to do is actually fill up a water bottle, put some mix in it, close the top, and then I go and stick it in my water bottle cage. Once I do that, it's all downhill. I'm committed. I'm going to put on my Lycra. I'm going to put on sunscreen. I'm going to get all the things that I need to, in an effort to go on the ride. I just have to get that one step. I used to date this girl a long time ago, 20 years ago. And in an effort for her to start her morning, before she even did her hair and makeup, she had to get her shoes on. So she felt like if she didn't have her shoes on in the house getting ready, she wasn't able to get ready. So you just have to find, humans are really funny like that. We all have that. What's the first step in an effort for us to, again, knock down that domino so the rest may follow easily and naturally. Yeah, Magic Maple says, thank you. Great tips. Listen, man, everything's psychological. It really is. Josh Snow says, thanks, coach. I definitely need to start working out more. It's only been a few weeks since I picked up the bike again. I'll check out your workouts. Yeah, man, check out bmxtraining.com. It's a membership website. There's a 2-day free trial. Check out some of the workouts in there. There's a faster lap challenge. And certainly there is a 30-day off-season challenge, and there's some workouts in there that you could do to help you get stronger and fitter so that you can handle your bike a lot more easier and naturally around the track, right? Because when you have pain on the bike, everything tends to be compromised, right? So it's definitely important for you to train and work on the physicality for your ability to be efficient and effective on the track. It's a lot more funner, and certainly it's going to be a lot easier to ride and negotiate the track. If you're having a hard time negotiating a track, then you're more susceptible to crashing. So make sure that you work on that. Is your water bottle, Josh Snow, is your water bottle full of NorCal Pull? Absolutely. Always. Anthony Grasher. All right, so I'm already 6 minutes over. Please forgive me. I do have a dinner date. I'll take these 2 questions and I'll do my best to answer them easy and naturally here. So we have one from Anthony Grasher and also from Jean-Philippe Bellinger. Okay, hopefully I didn't mispronounce that. Anthony asked, prep for race day starts the night before. Oh, it's a comment. Prep for race day starts the night before for me by getting all my stuff together in one place. If I don't start the night before, I will stay up late and screw around and not be 100%. Right on, Anthony. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's what I love about the community. I love how you guys share, not only to me, but to others. This is phenomenal. Jean-Philippe says, I'm a BMX dad and racing my 3rd summer, so I'm looking for any tips for the start gate. Am I supposed to lift the front wheel as the gate drops? Thanks, JP. Not necessarily. If you're just starting, listen, at the end of the day, you want to get forward momentum going. And you could certainly do that just by simply leading with the head and shoulders first. Let me show it one more time. And also, this video is going to be permanent on the channel once I'm done with it. So go back and watch the replay. We spoke about a little bit more advanced stuff, such as your second pedal acceleration position. But at the end of the day, Jean-Philippe, I would say that the most important thing is to get that first movement correct. The front end doesn't necessarily need to come up. Usually, typically, that is a Newtonian third law. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Older riders that are stronger and bigger are not necessarily pulling up on the bars. They're actually anchoring the bars, meaning they're just simply holding on the bars taut, and then they're just simply leading with the head and shoulders, driving their front foot simultaneously through that front pedal. And as a reaction, the front end's coming up a little bit. Now, back in the day, it's weird. I would say, yes, some people are deliberately bringing the front end up, but we're finding more and more, especially with today's random start cadence, that you don't want to do that because you want to be in an effective second pedal acceleration position to ensure that you're creating this continuous forward momentum. Okay, and so we spoke about that in the beginning, and let me show you. You can see here, this is Tyler Brown. He races Masters. He's a 2-time Masters world champion. I used to coach Tyler back when he was a AA pro and elite pro. And right here, he's moving forward, right? And he's leading with the head and shoulders. And the idea here is to get the shoulders right over the handlebar grips and then try to maintain that position all the way to the 30-foot mark for you, I would say. So practice that first. And then if it makes sense for, let's say you're strong enough to the point where you're reacting fast enough and it's going to be more beneficial for your front end to kind of come up. That way you can kind of beat the gate down. Now, that's another idea of why the front end comes up. Okay, but trust me, pros are not deliberately like, oh, I need to get my front end up and high and try to get my front end up and over the gate. No, they're not trying to do that. They're still trying to drive through the gate. Check out on my channel, there is a video that we did with Anthony Dean. Anthony Dean and I did a little fun vlog, if you will, over at the Olympic Training Center. And his technique is really, really low for a pro. And he's just trying to keep that front end low so he can get an efficient second, third pedal. So for you, I would just focus on the fundamentals first. Number 1, lead with the head and shoulders. Number 2, try to keep the shoulders over the handlebar grips as you're accelerating out of the gate all the way to the 30-foot mark, okay? And if you're French, I think that's probably 3 meters, right? I think that's about 3 meters. And so work on that first, okay? And then if you get stronger, again, if you get stronger and or your reaction time is faster and you're confident about moving forward and you're having an issue with the front tire hitting the gate, then we can go ahead and start working on a strategy for the front end to kind of come up in an effort for you to time the gate down better. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys, that's it. Any other remaining questions? Yeah, John, thank you. Merci. No problem. Any other questions you guys ask even after this live show, this live stream? I'll answer them next week. Again, if we haven't met, I'm Coach Greg Romero, 3-time Olympic coach. I raced for, I don't know, a long time, since 1983. Raced professionally for 12 years. And if we haven't met, thank you so much for coming. It was nice to meet you guys. And I'm grateful, again, for the opportunity to help and guide you, to help you guys thrive and also experience your potential and, more importantly, sustain it. That's what I do. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I get my notifications from YouTube, so I always reply to YouTube comments. Again, thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful night or rest of your day if you're watching in the Southern Hemisphere somewhere in Australia. And I'll see you guys next week on the show. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, I have a question. What would it do for you if you could enhance your power out of the gate, enhance your sprint speed down the first straight, enhance your skills, enhance your mental performance mind state? What would that do for your racing or your kids' racing? If you're seeing the value of enhancing your BMX performance, consider joining the community of BMX Training Pro and get the same access my Olympic athletes have enjoyed, as well as thousands of BMXers all over the world. Some members use the access to improve their gate start techniques. Some also use the access to keep them motivated to train, and you'll find your reason when you gain access and join BMX Training Pro today.